Oh, is this where I have to talk lots? See, I got told that I can talk lots, but I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it's. See,
You are a
this is
talker.
yeah, but this is the whole thing. I have to start talking because if I don't talk, then it's just a load of quiet. Now, no one really wants quiet. Well, they might want quiet. Oh, I am so ill. Well, I don't know if I'm ill. I don't know what's going on. My throat is
Rona.
killing me.
It's not Rona, is it?
It's not Rona.
Okay.
No, because I can still smell. Yeah, I can still
What's
smell
up? What's
coffee.
wrong?
I woke up in the middle of the night, just had a sore throat, and then I just felt this morning. Right, I went down. So this didn't also help the situation this morning. I'm not recording. That might help.
Yeah, we don't need to start recording until the
I
actual
know,
podcast,
but
but
yeah, but helps if I actually get it up.
yeah,
So
it
I
always
just
helps if you
felt
get it up.
we're not at that point yet.
No.
I was just like feeling really rubbish, and then I was like, this morning I was like, I'll go down to the local garage, and in Ireland the local garages are like delis, so they do lots of food and things. I was like, I'll go and get some croissants. That'd be nice for breakfast.
Mm.
And Laura's like, I'll go and get some sausages and some hash browns, and I'll make a sandwich. I was like, grand. So I went down, and as I walked in, I went over to the hot counter, and you pass all the pastries. And I went over to the hot counter, got Laura her bits, then came back. There was no pastries at all. There was no croissants. There was nothing. And then I walked down to the bread aisle, and there was a man literally his basket overfilling with croissants and things. I was like, I should have got the croissants first.
Oh,
So I've just, yeah. So I've not had a good morning. I felt rubbish, and then I didn't
you
get any
can't,
croissants.
you can't spell disappointment more than not having your morning croissant.
No, and like it's always on the weekend, and as this morning. I mean, is this the earliest we've ever done a
I
podcast?
think it probably is actually. Yeah, it is still. It's not even 10:30,
I know.
which is very early for us, considering like I've had to watch an Indy Car race this morning and write a review for it, and because it clashed with Line of Duty last night, so I was like, no, I'm watching Line of Duty, and then yeah, wish I hadn't.
um, we
The
how
Sopranos. That's the TV show I was trying to remember. Don't worry,
well,
it's
when
fine. I've been trying to remember a TV show that ended with a really shit finale. Oh, YouTube. So, yeah, that was
I
it.
haven't
The
sworn
Sopranos.
yet.
I know you've beaten me.
Uh, um, how's the weather over there? Is it really grey and dull?
It's going to be bad today, but it was all
We've
right
got
yesterday.
it was a lovely day yesterday. We've got a crap load of wind today
Yeah, it was nice
and
yesterday.
cloud and rain.
Yeah. Cool. Should we? I've sent out all the links and stuff that I need to do. So there's no one chatting on the live stream. So should we jump into the podcast?
Yeah, shall I press record then?
Yeah,
There we go. Press
me
record.
too. That's going to be roughly the same.
Roughly.
Cool. So hello YouTube, if there is anyone out there.
Is there anyone out there?
Is there anyone out there? Let's jump into the show.
Oh, and a big hit there for Fernando Alonso. Two cars in one corner.
I like that bit where he goes, that's Fernando Alonso, and then he just goes, that's Fernando.
That's Fernando.
It's just like, what? Yeah, we know. You've just said it's Fernando.
Oh, God. Michael Schumacher hits David Coulthard.
Have we got some Formula E in this show?
I'm going to put some in. I haven't done it yet, but I will
George
do.
Russell is the Formula 2 champion.
Oh, I need to get my speech up tonight.
Oh! Hitchcock with a big one.
Big
one.
Welcome to the Monkeyseat, the PJ1 Asphalt compound of podcasts. My name is Tom.
And I'm Carl, who was marginally less disappointed with the race than Tom was with the end of Line of Duty.
Oh, don't get me started on Line of Bloody Duty. We are a fully
No
independent
comments.
podcast hosted by two opinionated friends who like to put the world to rights.
You can find us on all major podcasting platforms by searching for Monkeyseat Podcast.
You can leave us a 5-star review to get a shout out on the show, or you can visit our website, monkeyseatpod.com, to celebrate our 1-year anniversary, actually.
Oh, yeah. Happy
Which you need to mention
anniversary.
at some point.
Or happy
Yes.
birthday. Is it birthday or anniversary? Which way are we going with it?
Well, it's birthday, really, isn't it? Because it was the 1st of May.
Yeah. I don't.
yeah.
I feel anniversary feels like a long-term commitment. Birthday's just like,
Yeah,
We're good.
birthday.
We're good.
It's fine. Anyway, sorry,
Maybe
carry on.
birthday is a longer term commitment. Awkward. I suppose you have more birthdays than you have anniversaries.
Hopefully, yeah.
And you can follow us on all the socials at Monkeyseat Pod, visit us on YouTube, and catch up with us on LinkedIn. If you want to sponsor us and give us loads of money, we now have a new page. I see.
We do. On the website, is this?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, we've basically we started something up on the website. It was kind of inspired by what For Formula One's sake do, because for those of you who listened to last week's show, we got a mention on For Formula One's sake, which I'm going to play again now just because I love it.
I will not promote a Formula One podcast called Monkeyseat.
That's all you need to hear, really. But they call us like monkey C words and stuff. But yeah, so they do a thing where you buy them a pint, and then it goes towards the upkeep of the show and stuff. So we've done a similar thing on there on our website. So if you want to help us out and you have some spare change, you want to throw it towards us, then please do.
My son's blowing me kisses.
Go to monkeyseatpod.com. And you can donate to the website, or you can donate on the website to the podcast, just to help us upkeep. Anything, just go straight back into the show. There are tiers on there as well, which I probably should go through.
What, tiers for crying because we're poor? And
yes, I probably should go through those tiers, shouldn't I? Actually.
yeah,
No, do you know what? It'd be a nice surprise. Log on to monkeyseatpod.com, have a look at the donation section and see what you can get. It's a bit like Patreon, but we're doing it ourselves. And it's a bit like kind of like crowdfunding, where you have different tiers of donations and you get different things for that. So go and have a look at that. See what you can get for your money. It's all really expensive stuff, really worth the money, obviously. Now it's stuff like shout outs and becoming like a executive producer of the show, all that kind of stuff. So go and have a look.
Come and be an exec producer of the show, because we bloody well need it.
Yeah.
So the producer, to be honest.
So we've had a bit of news over the week, haven't we? Just to touch on it briefly, Canada has been formally cancelled, which we expected, and Turkey is now in. That was.
I know.
Much...
And where are you in the world, Tom? When that's happening?
Where am I? When is that? I can't remember when it is, actually, to be honest.
I think I might be very wrong.
I'm probably going to be in the UK. Let's be honest.
No, you're away.
No,
13th
I'm not.
of June.
13th of June is the day before I go away.
Oh, so when is? Oh, so it's the 20th of June.
No, I go away on the 14th of June, allegedly, but it depends on what happens.
And when do you come back?
We're away for like 11 nights or something.
Oh, so it's the 20th of June. I'm not. It's Father's Day.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm hoping to be in Mauritius on my honeymoon, and my wedding isn't until September.
So what the hell am I going to talk about on the 21st of June?
Road America and Formula E.
I've actually got... And Laura's coming on. Brilliant. We're not even talking about Formula One.
Oh, dear.
My wife's coming on and replacement for Tom.
Well, I need to check on the dates, because I might not be here for France either, but we'll see. So you can talk about France. I don't mind missing France. But then that does mean... that means missing the start of W Series now. I'll do everything I can to be back for France. Anyway.
So what you're going to do is allow me and Laura, who have dragged into Formula One now, on the 21st, talking about nothing, about Formula E. So Charlie might be on.
Yeah, just do it with Charlie, if Laura doesn't want to come on and talk about Indy Car.
Who's going to talk about IndyCar? I need someone on for IndyCar. Darren, you're coming on for IndyCar. Yeah. I don't care. Darren and Charlie.
I mean, it depends, because
Laura,
this is all kind of.
I like this that we're planning this on air.
Yeah, this is all maybes, because I may not even be allowed to go yet because of the restrictions and stuff. It's not by no means certain I'm going to be able to go. It's kind of like a flip of a coin at the moment. So
But Laura, you're definitely still on the 20th if you want to do it, because she had to go at me. That we've asked her to come on to things before and she hasn't done it. But she didn't have to go at me. That sounds really bad.
I've said multiple times, Laura, I know you're in the chat and I can see you chatting.
She's chatting.
You're currently sending us message in the chat. So you are more than welcome to come on this show. I am happy to have you on. And I promise I will not take the piss out of you.
Oh, no, I will. No, actually, do you know what, though? She did make me laugh the other. She went, remember to start bitching about Temazepam. I went, who's Temazepam? She went, Temazepam. I was like, Mazepin?
Yeah.
Temazepam is
Yeah.
a drug relaxant. I was like, brilliant. She's
Oh,
now
really?
starting.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah, I should have known about that.
She's
Yeah.
now. Why? Why
No
should
reason.
you know?
So the other bit of news we've got, I've got up on Autosport at the moment just to prompt me in case I forget anything, is the sprint races. No,
Oh,
we're not
who
calling them
cares?
sprint races. They're sprint qualifying sessions. 3 races this year. So
But they do get
Silverstone-
points. So
Yeah, Silverstone's guaranteed, and then there'll be 2 others, which will probably be Turkey and Brazil if Brazil happens, but nothing's been 100% guaranteed yet.
it
It's
won't
gonna
be Turkey. I don't think it'll be Turkey because Turkey's too soon. I think it'll be after. I think UK will be first,
Maybe.
and UK is until July, is it? 18th, July
Silverstone
18th.
is... That
July
sounds about
18th.
right. Yes, it is, 18th of July. We'll see. I don't know yet.
So-
But they're going to let us know soon. But it's basically Friday morning and getting normal free practice 1. Friday afternoon, you're getting the standard qualifying session, but they are mandating soft tyres for everyone. And the reason they're
Okay.
doing that is because they're not making you start the race on the tyre you finished Q2 on, which I hate that rule anyway, to be honest. So I'm glad
Such
to see
a
that go.
random rule. I don't quite understand it.
Well, when they brought it in, it did kind of serve a purpose, but Formula One's moved on, so I think the rules should move on as well, and it just doesn't make any sense now. And then Saturday morning, you're going to have a 60-minute free practice 2 session, which is after the qualifying, which is going to be interesting because they're going to have to relax Parc Fermé regulations to allow that to happen. Saturday afternoon, 100-kilometre sprint race qualifying, which there's going to be no compulsory pit stop. But you're going to have access to 2 tyre compounds, and you can choose which one you use. If you choose to make a pit stop, then you're more than welcome to. But it's not going in a sprint race. You don't really want to make a pit stop. And then Sunday will just be the standard race. So there's slight tweaks to tyre regulations, but I won't bore you too much with the tyre regulations.
How long's a race normally? This
300. I think it's 305 kilometres.
Okay.
It's 300 kilometres, but it's like 300 kilometres plus the rest of that lap, if that makes sense. So it's 300 and then a little bit more. Apart from Monaco, which is 260 because it's too short. They would have done like 100 laps on Monaco if it's...
I don't know why they don't.
Because they're too slow. The race would time out because it would go over 2 hours. Because Singapore, back in 2014, when the cars were a lot slower and start the hybrid regulations, Singapore was the first couple of years was really touch and go. You basically had to do the whole race without any safety cars, or you'd end up hitting the 2-hour time limit.
Oh well.
So that's why it would just go on too long. So because they're just not going fast. So that's sprint races. Any thoughts or give it a go?
Let's see what happens at the British. I mean, I'm not overly worried or sold or excited by them.
I'm not against it. I'm not
against
for it.
Let's see what happens. I don't like the idea of qualifying on Friday from people that have lives and work, which actually means I won't see that one.
Yeah, well, qualifying is going to be less important because the qualifying session is effectively the sprint race, isn't it? So it's going to be less important on that front. But it means that there's something every day not that we've got fans, but fans at the venue would get a lot more value for their money because they'll get stuff on Friday and Saturday, and it might increase sales on those as well.
Yeah, actually, the British Grand Prix, I'm working. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do about that.
Shall we stop doing our planning production meetings on air?
Yeah.
Let's move past that. Shall we? I just realised I forgot to play something.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
So it's definitely happy birthday. It's not happy anniversary. There we go.
Yeah. Anyway, I had that all set up and I forgot to play it. Never mind.
Rubbish.
Yeah. I know.
Fail.
Right. So we had a race.
Should we do it?
There's before that. Let's talk about our lovely sponsor. So this is an ad. This is an ad. We're about to do a sponsored message from Manscaped.
This is an ad.
So if you're like me and you've been forced by your better half to finally sort out that mess of a garden through lockdown, and now things are opening up, it's probably high time we start looking after our man garden again.
Support for the Monkeyseat is brought to you by Manscaped, who claim to be the best below-waist grooming in the world. I'm not sure.
In the world!
What other below, man? I don't know. Anyway, Manscaped's now available in Europe, and they are kind enough to send us a bunch of products to try.
And said product, one of those said products is right here. Here it
That's
is.
called the lawnmower, Tom.
Yeah,
and it's their
I'm just
third
gonna-
generation trimmer. No, we're not doing shaving on. Oh, Jesus. That's the third
Oh, I've got to
generation
clean it.
trimmer feature, a cutting edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents and keep your upper lip safe, seemingly. and
Keep your
smooth.
upper lip safe, yeah.
Yeah.
It's completely waterproof as well, so you can take it in the shower and you don't get hair everywhere, which keeps your better halves happy as well, especially mine.
Yeah, mine would be upset about that as well. As part of your agreement with Manscaped, you can offer all Monkeyseat fans 20% off and free shipping with their code MONKEY, MONKEY, at manscaped.com.
Yes. So there we go.
Nice.
There's some great savings of premium products. and
I've just
other
had
discounts too.
the wife turn up. Just putting that out there.
Okay.
The face said it all. of Tom's on side joke. I just like to clarify, he is actually shaving his face, and this isn't a live demonstration.
It's a
of him
live
shaving.
demonstration of Manscaped.
Yeah.
There we go.
He's not. He's not doing what it sounds like he's doing. If you're listening to the podcast, I promise you,
I'm
go onto
demonstrating my
YouTube,
Manscaped stuff. There we
go
go. Can
onto
you hear that?
YouTube and watch what's actually happening. This is not really happening.
Live shave.
Tom has not
Live
got-
on air.
Oh God, Tom.
Oh dear. Right. So thank you very much for Manscaped for sponsoring us for this month. So 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the discount code MONKEY at checkout to get your discount. So thank you very much. Your balls will thank you.
Will they?
And also
Will
my
they?
face.
Your face will shave you.
Yeah.
Shave you? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, there's the advert. We finished the advert.
The advert.
The advert has now gone. Let's talk about this rather dull race. How long can we drag this out for?
Well, to be fair, I thought the race was... we had a battle for the lead, which is great. Because like last year, you didn't really have a lot of that. So
Yeah, it was the most amount of time that I've seen in a long time of us watching 1, 2, and 3. Normally, those three are just off.
yeah,
on themselves.
we've been
You
seeing a
never
lot
see
more of that this year, which is...
good
Which
or
is
bad.
good. I mean, I've really enjoyed like
Quite
the
like-
midfield battle last year. That was great, but it's nice to see a bit of focus on the leaders as well.
Yeah.
Though I would have liked to see a little bit more of what was going on behind
Yeah.
occasionally as well. But there we go. So, shall I jump into the race review?
Oh yeah, go on then.
Where's that window gone?
That window.
I had a window with a race review up. There it is. Got it. Because, spoiler alert, I don't do these from memory. I do write them and read them. So, yeah. This one should be
Like
quite
a
an easy
proper
one, to be honest.
professional.
Yeah. So, I tend to paraphrase quite a lot while I'm doing it, though. But anyway, let's give it a go, shall we?
Yep.
A fairly well-behaved opening lap saw Norris pass Ocon twice. That's how good the race is. I've even got time to put in sound effects.
Oh, God.
And with the top three running as they started, Raikkonen decided he didn't like his front wing, so he swapped it for his teammate's rear wheel and caused a safety car to clear the debris. The race resumed on lap 7, and Hamilton lost out to Verstappen at the restart, and second, and Lando also got past Perez for 4th, but Perez soon took the place back again a few laps later. Russell started his inevitable fall backwards as the Williams struggled in the wind, and Ricciardo was the winner of the opening exchanges by climbing up to 11th after his bad qualifying. Lap 10, and Max made a slight error, allowing Hamilton to get a run on him, and he retook the place. Jump ahead to 1/3 distance, and Hamilton made a pass on his teammates to take the lead for the first time. Ferrari stopped Sainz first and gave him the mediums until the end, which effectively ended his competitiveness as he couldn't get them working, and went from side by side with Norris to trying to hang on for a point. Latifi, interestingly, passed Russell on pace, putting George last behind yet even Mazepin. He was yet to stop, though, so don't worry, normal service was about to be resumed. AWS said that Max Verstappen had a 6% chance of an overtake of Bottas through the pit stops, so obviously Verstappen then passed Bottas through the pit stops. And Red Bull extended Perez's stint to try and interfere with Hamilton's race, and as soon as Hamilton passed him, Perez came in. His pace was nowhere near that of the top three, though, but he was much, much faster than everyone else, so a bit of a lordly Yay for Checo. Alonso, don't know what that's supposed to be. Alonso came alive in the closing stages, climbing from 8th to 11th, and Ricciardo also did well despite being passed by Alonso to recover to 9th. Mazepin was being called an effing idiot by multiple drivers for his failure to get out of the way 2 laps down, while Schumacher, his teammate, was up the road passing Latifi on track for 17th. Back at the front and the battle for fast laps saw Bottas. I've ruined it! Bottas, Perez and Verstappen all taking an extra stop, and Hamilton won. Wow, you seem enthralled. Or have you frozen?
I was like that for the whole race. Like, I went out, my father-in-law was doing Sudoku in the kitchen. He went, "Oh, that must have been a boring race. I didn't hear you once."
Yeah, I mean, it's like everything was all very well behaved, wasn't it? It was DRS overtakes into turn 1, and there was never any particular kind of, there was no kind of jeopardy at any point.
No.
Which is,
and it was so annoying because compared to admittedly it was raining last year, but he was one of my favourite tracks last year, and it's still not a bad track. It's just a nothing track today.
I mean, it had the most on-track overtakes of any race last year with 58, which was the highest. But most of them were Raikkonen on the first lap, going from 16th to 10th.
And he wasn't available this time.
Yeah, then he had Sainz going from 5th to 1st and Norris going from 8th to 4th.
I mean, there must have been quite a few overtakes because Ricciardo flew up.
Yeah, there was. There was a reasonable amount. I don't know what the overall total was, but there was a reasonable amount. I was looking at some interesting stats before the race, hoping to get them in. It would have been if Verstappen had won, he would have been the first driver to have won consecutive races when starting 3rd since Michael Schumacher in 2000.
Right.
Which would have been quite 21 years.
Okay, right. Let's talk about the first 3. So Bottas stuck it on qualifying. If you'd like to hear about me talking about qualifying for an hour, you can find that on the Grid Talk podcast.
And if you want to hear me talking about the race for 45 minutes, then go to Grid Talk.
This really shows you either how much myself and Steve chat with Ruby or how little there was to talk about the race. I can't quite decide. So either way, I mean, the quali was interesting, and I think Bottas put in a blistering lap on that final time when everyone else was just wearing down.
Yeah, well, I mean, Verstappen set the fastest time, didn't he? But he had the lap time deleted.
Yeah. That sounds familiar. Anyway, so and then there was this whole thing about should have Verstappen got it because on a lap by lap that Mr. Chandok did on the Sky panel, he was actually behind at that point. Okay, I don't care. Then them the rules, and that's what needs to happen. I don't agree with the rules. Well, we'll talk about that later, I'm sure. I don't agree with the rules, but anyway, so the Mercs were 1-2, the Red Bulls 3-4, grand. Then the race happened. It was and then Mr. Verstappen got into second. It was literally a matter of time before Bottas got taken over. I didn't think it was going to be Hamilton that was going to take him over.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and then Verstappen to then take him over.
Bottas is a good qualifier. He's a dynamite qualifier.
Why can't he stay up front?
He's a quick driver, but in races, he can't manage races as well as Hamilton. I've said it so many times in the past. Bottas always sets his car up for qualifying. Hamilton sets his cars up for the race. This is why Bottas is so close to Hamilton in qualifying, and then Hamilton always beats him in the race. I've lost count of how many times I've said that. But it's just another example of it here. He needs to change. I mean, the thing is, if he did change what he did, then he would end up starting behind Hamilton every race and then never passing him anyway. So I suppose what he's doing, at least he's got the chance on a track where you can't overtake that he might be able to hold on and win. But
the
again,
thing is, the qualifying idea, the qualifying idea is that you get out front and you go ahead and you go fast in clean air. That's what the setup is. This is why I can't understand why Bottas can't do clean air and he's happier behind someone.
Because it's one lap, isn't it? It's managing your pace and managing the car throughout a race distance and all the little changes and as the car changes balance throughout the race as the fuel load comes down and the tyres wear out.
We're talking about
the balance
10
is
to
going to
15
change.
laps you can't cope with.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference that it makes. I mean, they say like the tyres are dead after a lap sometimes, or they've taken the best out of the tyres after a lap sometimes. So the car is constantly changing in characteristics throughout the entire race as the fuel load goes down, as the tyres wear out. And then it changes, obviously, when you come in, you've then got fresh tyres but lower fuel. So again, that changes the balance even further. So it's just that ability to react. I find that Bottas can set a car up for qualifying quicker than Hamilton can, so he can get to 95% very quickly. But then Bottas never really gets above that 95%, and then Hamilton eventually kind of gets up to that 96, 97, and that's when he's able to make the difference in the race. If he knows how to manage a race. If he doesn't take the lead at the start, or he isn't in the lead at the start, he'll just hang back. And then he'll look after the tyres and wait for a point when he can attack. Even when he doesn't look like he's got an advantage, he'll wait until something comes his way, like a safety car or a virtual safety car, or lapping back markers and stuff. And that's when he'll make his attack. He's brilliant at just managing races and looking for everything that he can do to kind of make that count.
I mean, the overtake just looked like I don't know. I don't looked easy. Anyway,
did everything he could to recover, but
I mean, I'm going to go on a little rant.
Go on.
Right. Can we please, for God's sake, stop announcing all the radio bollocks? Because it is all lies. They're all lying. Oh, my tyres are wearing out. No, they're not. Oh, we're running out of power on third gear. No, you're not. Just stop lying. Just stop announcing it, because it is just, as soon as anyone says it, I get a bunch of messages going, oh, they're all falling down. No, they're not. They're all talking bollocks. Stop talking rubbish. Am I allowed to say bollocks? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
But it's just like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? What game plan is it to say that your tyres are going down? What are you trying to do?
They definitely use code. They definitely use code.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, I'm like, what was it that Hamilton
said my tyres are shot.
Yeah, mate, shot. So shot means he's only got one shot. I don't know. He's got one more lap, few more laps. I don't know what that means.
He's not throwing away his shot. He's Hamilton.
He's not throwing away his shot. Has he gone all Hamilton on us? Like, what? Hamilton going all Hamilton on us? That would be quite good, wouldn't it? But like, what is wrong with these people? Why are they using code and things? Well, no, I don't mind them using code. Use your code. I guess the other people are listening in. But do we need to really listen to it as support fans? Because it doesn't make any difference. It is all lies. Stop lying to me.
It's interesting to hear, and
it's not. If it's lies, it's not. It really isn't.
I quite like hearing them like getting all hot and bothered during the races.
Oh, I do. I love a bit of Snowden. I love a bit of Dan Tixon losing his crap. I love a bit of Perez sitting behind Tamazapan, as Laura called him.
Diazepam.
I don't mind those, but my wheels are shot, Elvis, or whatever his name is. Not Elvis. That's the wrong one.
Elvis, you got a job at Mercedes.
Wrong music.
YouTube channel.
Wrong band. Yeah, my wheels are shot, Bono. No, they're not. Stop it. Oh, I'm losing third gear. How can you lose power in third gear? There's nothing wrong with your gearbox. Stop moaning. At least put some decent information across. What is wrong with these people?
Wrong band. This just really tickled me. It's weird that, like, you said Elvis, and the first thing I thought was Mike Priestley.
It does make sense. I mean,
well, again, wrong team because he was McLaren, but yeah. Oh god, there's all kinds of gremlins.
Well, Bono's in a band
during the race. What?
Bono's in a band.
Yeah, but yeah, there's
you too.
Yes, I know who Bono is.
The saviour of Irish music, as some might say. Anyway, what do I know about anything?
Band. Oh dear.
Either way, this was supported by
Sponsors for Racing.
Sponsors for Racing.
Sponsors for Racing have sponsored another rant from Carl. So thank you for that, guys.
Whether they agree with them or not.
Yeah, they never agree with these rants. We just chuck it in there. Head to sponsorsforracing.com if you want to back a young person trying to get into motorsport. Yes. Thank you, Matt.
Oh,
please
Jesus
share this.
Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, but still, Like, what is wrong with these people? Just stop talking rubbish. And it's all the ones at the front. I don't mind them sharing radio about them bitching about each other or actual information. But lies? I don't want lies. Lies. Anyway.
Because the broadcasts are all they're being broadcast on open frequencies and all the teams can hear it. They want to protect. They're
I
protecting.
get that, but I don't need
performance.
to hear the lies. I don't need to hear the lies. Because it's all lies, and every fan gets excited thinking that the lies are real, and they don't. For some reason, people don't understand that the lies are lies. Why do they think they're real? No.
You've really got to be in your bonnet about this, haven't you?
Anyway, Alpine.
Alpine.
Where they? What the? Are
Where
they
did
all
they come
right?
from? Where did they come from? They were at times they were the third best car on track.
We have got a decent midfield. The Ferraris are back up. The McLarens.
It's just wait and see if it's
And the
track
Alpines.
dependent. It might be track dependent. It might just be this track suits them, which means it probably will suit them in Barcelona because there's very similar track characteristics in Barcelona as well. So let's wait and see. But I think Alpine have definitely shown that the car can have pace, which is positive for the rest of the season. I just wish AlphaTauri would stop throwing it away. I mean, I don't mind because it all hurts McLaren, but like for the competitiveness of the midfield, AlphaTauri have probably got the fourth best car, and they're just never anywhere in the races because they just keep throwing it away on strategy. It's just insane.
Well, and to be honest, little Yuki didn't do that well this week.
No, but his strategy, he started on soft and then he got put on the hard tyres on like 18 or 19 or something. They had to go to the end on hard tyres, which is just like such a performance hemorrhaging strategy. It was never going to work. The only way that would have worked is if there'd have been an early safety car, which with the amount of runoff they got on this track, there's no way the only way you were going to get a safety car was with people racing each other, and we know they can't really overtake. So it was going to be a first lap safety car, and that was only ever really going to be likely going to be the time. Yeah. But yeah.
So I mean, it was nice to see them there, and it was nice to see Fernando, who I'm not a fan of, which I'm sure we'll talk about that next week. Next
week. Bez is on next week.
Bez is on. Does he know he's on next week?
Well,
anyway,
we told him.
Yeah.
We didn't ask him. We told him.
Yeah. Like I can't. Yeah. Like Fernando. Like fair play on him. Fair play on him. Fair play on Ocon. Mr. I sort of went quite high with my predictions this week. Last week.
That's what I thought. I thought there's no way he could have a 7th, and he did. So
there we go. I got points.
Singular.
I got a point.
Singular, Carl. Singular. We're only offering like 4 points a weekend now, and that's even if you like predict some really difficult stuff. So we'll get on to predictions later. But yeah. No, he did. He did good. I was very impressed with that. And just Ocon is beating Alonso pretty hands down. So I'm going to have that conversation with Bez next week. Is Alonso past it?
Well, it's passed by Ocon. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Aston again.
Sorry?
Aston Martin again.
Do we have to talk about them?
Terrible.
I mean, what is going on with them? I feel sorry for everyone on that team. Like,
because you can't even say like it's the low rake philosophy, because look, Mercedes are winning races.
I think you're right though. I think they have an aero package that they don't understand. And now they're trying to fiddle with that aero package, and the drivers are trying to fiddle with it, and we are where we are. I'm guessing
48 points behind McLaren already. 48 points.
Like, it's insane. And I'm guessing Perez didn't fiddle as much last. I think they must have. Perez and Stroll last year must have just. Actually, the car's great. We've copied it so that we can deal with it this time.
The car had a great baseline performance level.
Yeah.
And then they didn't need to develop it. They developed it a little bit, but within like what they had available to them, because they couldn't change that much. And then this year they've had to come up with their own concept, which is obviously heavily based around last year's concept, and it's just not working. And I just think they just need to sack off this year, to be honest. Shout out to Philip in the chat. He's just said Stroll F1 just sucks. Yeah, I agree. They do. Absolutely.
Is that Philip in America?
Yeah.
What's he doing up?
I don't know.
Why are you up this early? Like I'm up early. It's 11 o'clock in Ireland, so you must be up at 6.
I'm not sure.
6 o'clock and
I
listening
don't
to
know.
us.
I got caught out on his time difference. So last time when I thought it was a certain time and it wasn't. So anyway,
6 o'clock and he's talking to us. Weird.
Yeah.
I reckon he's 6. He might tell us anyway. Stroll F1 do suck. We'll give you that. But do you know what? Wouldn't we all prefer it if it was called Stroll F1? Let's be honest.
Probably, yeah. Well, it's like Stroll F1, Mazepin F1, Williams would be Latifi F1.
Yeah. I mean,
that's three billionaires.
Talking about Latifi, did someone get taken over by Mick Schumacher?
Yeah. Good performance from Mick. Good performance from Mick. I mean, as I said...
he was so excited taking over Latifi on the radio.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't lies. But he was absolutely so excited on taking over Latifi and then got stuck in traffic again. Well, not got stuck in traffic, got stuck being overlapped. But fair play. I mean, that really is proving that he's a worthy driver. I know it's only Latifi, but...
Yes and no. I think this track really didn't suit the Williams with the windy conditions and the high downforce setup. I think what happened was today, or yesterday rather, was that Williams was the worst car on track. As we said, there would be times when it would be the worst car on track and there would be times when it would be a much, much better car. So I think what we saw this weekend was one of those weekends where it was the worst car on track. And as a result, nice cuppa there. So as a result, it was the worst car on track and Mick was able to fight with Nick as a result.
I know. But that's
and you look at that as well. You've got Mick and two Nicks, both lapped twice, and then you've got George just up the once, much further up the road than them at the end of the race. So he managed to get the best out of the car. I think it was the worst car on track.
Can we talk about the dick at the end?
Yeah.
Like, how was he nearly a minute and 15 seconds behind Mick Schumacher?
He was ahead of him at one point, wasn't he?
But how?
Well, he took an extra pit stop, I know that.
That doesn't mean a minute and 15 seconds. That means 30 seconds.
Yeah. And plus he also had the benefit of newer tyres, so then would have been able to push and go quicker. But he just fell further back. No, he's just past it. Or not even past it. He never had it.
He's past it. Yeah, he wishes he was past it.
I don't get why he's
not
so
Vettel
bad,
or Alonso by any stretch of the imagination.
You look at last year in F2, right? And Mick Schumacher had the best car, or the best team, because obviously it's a spec series. He had the best team in Portimao. But he got the job done and he beat his teammate. Nikita Mazepin had the high-tech team, which, put him in a position where he could win the odd race here and there. But they were by no means the best team out there. And he comprehensively beat his teammate. I'm really surprised at just how bad he is. I knew he wasn't really going to be F1 level, but I'm surprised at just how bad he's been so far. Because you put him in a Mercedes.
Well, I'm not.
He's had
okay, where did Snowder end up? In the championship. Huh?
What, last year? Third?
Yeah, third.
He had a lot of bad luck.
Yeah, so he had bad luck. But what I'm saying is how good he is, how good Mick Schumacher is winning the championship is. Like, Nikita Mazepin should still have been a lot higher up and a lot better. He should at least be keeping up with these guys. At least keeping up with his teammate.
Yeah, but as I say, I've been surprised at just how bad it has been because he looked. I thought that in the Haas it was going to be a bad car and they would just be at the back. But then on occasion, like if it had a really wet race and something just clicked with the team, they might have one chance this year to get a point. And I just had this feeling that on that day, on that day. Yeah,
I don't think they're ever going to get a point. We're still waiting for the Williamses to get a point.
Yes, but if there's a crazy race with lots of wet conditions or whatever, and then there's a lot of retirements, for example, say you've only got 10 finishes, and then on that race,
sorry, you've only got 10 finishes. Guaranteed, Nikita Mazepin's not going to be one of those finishes.
Well, yeah, this is true. But I just had the feeling that he was going to be one of those, he was going to be like Kubica was 2 years ago in Williams. Russell absolutely destroyed him all year. And that one race in Hockenheim, where Russell had a bad race, Kubica finished ahead of him, and then there were only 10 finishes.
Yeah.
And then as a result, Kubica... Well, actually, to be fair, there were 12 finishes. But there was... I think it was the Alphas. Either the Alphas or the Renaults got the score.
They all run out of battery power because there's a safety car. Oh, no, wrong series.
No, wrong series. Oh, that's bad. That was so bad.
Anyway.
Yeah, Danny Rick, good recovery.
Yeah, but okay, great recovery. Expected. He was never going to stay down where 17th was he? But why did he even have 17th as a qualifying?
Yeah, he ballsed up his qualifying, but it's a great recovery. I had him in conversation for driver of the day. I don't think he was. I
think that's a very strong call on that one.
His only mistake all day was he overshot his pit box slightly, which lost him a bit of time in the pits. And he
we're talking a foot.
Yeah, he didn't quite have the pace.
He had to stretch a foot.
Yeah, but he didn't quite have the pace in the second half of the race as much. We saw Alonso coming through and passing him on track and stuff, but he still managed to recover to get points. And as a result of him recovering, that meant that McLaren pulled ahead of Ferrari. They pulled 3, 4, 5 points ahead of Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship. So I think they're 7 points clear now. I think 11 points ahead of Ferrari now.
What is surprising at the moment is I know you'll probably do standings in a bit, but where your boy is.
Still third.
Still third. I think but he did that last year, didn't he?
He was third after the first race, and I think he may have held it after the second race, but then he lost it after that.
Yeah.
He was never back there again.
I think
he could just show consistency. He just needs to show consistency.
But he is now.
Well, it's 3 races. That's the beginning of a pattern.
Yeah, that's the beginning of a pattern. Let's go with that then.
He's showing the beginning of a pattern, and if he can continue with that for the rest of the season,
if he can stay in fourth or fifth the whole time,
fifth is basically his baseline. That's what he should be aiming at, 5th place.
And I think he is now.
He seems to be, and then it's whenever something
he's happy in that
to the guys
car.
ahead.
He seems happy in that car. He seems happy in that race, that seat. I thought that Ricciardo would be giving him a bit of jip, but he's not. So
he will do. He will catch him, and he will be right with him by the end of the season. As I said last week about the.
But that's only good, I think.
Yeah.
From McLaren, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely. They need Ricciardo up there. Lando Norris is definitely doing a great job at the moment, but they need Ricciardo to be up there with him and pushing him, because that's how McLaren got third in the championship last year. They need to, if they can maintain that third place this year, that's going to be a phenomenal result.
Yeah.
And that's just what they need to do going into next year. Have that third place in the bag. So I think it's going to be tough. I think Alpine are going to come on strong. I think Ferrari will come on stronger than McLaren in the second half of the season. So they need to build up a gap.
I'm looking. Do you know what? I don't hate Ferrari this year.
No.
I hated Ferrari last year. I thought they were just ruining Vettel. And I thought Sainz had made a very big mistake going to Ferrari. But I take that all back. And something's just clicked again. They've suddenly, I don't know whether Sainz turning up has helped. And
Sainz
they've not got that.
Great racer.
They've not got that world champion necklace holding over them, which is the same necklace that now Aston Martin has. I don't know what's going on, whether Vettel is the discerning factor in any of these teams at the moment. But I think the Ferraris just seem a lot less whingy, a lot cleverer, a lot faster, in a better car, whether they've put a lot of work in and during the off period and they're not cheating anymore.
Yeah, that does help if you're not cheating.
But whether they've just taken a new philosophy. I know they've had a bit of a team change at the top as well. So I wonder if that's affected them. But it just feels like a happier camp, a happier stable, or whatever they call themselves. Scuderia, is that the one? So I don't.
It's a shame for Sainz in the race. He did drop off, and it wasn't really his fault. It's a strategy, and
but that was a strategy, but it wasn't like a flawed strategy.
Because Norris had the same strategy.
It was a let's try this strategy and let's see if it works
Yeah,
thing.
which it did work for some people, which science just couldn't make it work, which is a shame. But yeah, no, it's again for me, I love it because it's McLaren, McLaren boy. But yeah,
I do like having. I don't like. I think if McLaren were just in the top of the midfield constantly, I think it wouldn't be as exciting. I do like the fact that the
you need
Alpines,
the
the
battle,
Ferraris,
you want the race,
and possibly the AlphaTauris when they sort themselves out again are there, and it just feel like that's such an interesting midfield at the moment. I feel like we've got. I said this on the podcast the other day. I feel like we've got a really solid midfield now that's challenging each other, and it's going to be a lot more fun in the midfield. Well,
I think Aston should come better. They should. I mean, otherwise, at the moment they're looking like they're going to finish 7th, which is worse than even I thought they were going to do.
I wouldn't be. And what can they change though? How can they? What can they?
They can do a better job. For one.
But how? What would they do? I know you're saying they could do a better job. That's like I could be the queen. It's easily said, but I can't be doing it. How can they do a better job?
Well, they can understand their car better and actually.
Yeah, but they can't because they've copied it. They don't understand their car. So unless they even they're trying to spend, unless they get, is it Adrian New? No, Adrian New is on the other team. He's
at Red Bull.
Who's on the chief mechanic at?
Well, the chief technical officer is James Allison, but he's stepping out of that role now. He's going into a higher position.
So, I mean, unless they get James Allison down into Aston, they're never going to understand it.
Yeah, and to be honest, they reap what they sow. This is what they've signed up to, and this is what their punishment is. To be honest, they took the benefits last year. It was only ever supposed to be for 1 year. It ended up being for 2. Because of the change of regulations, and now they're having to deal with the consequences of that. So I've got no sympathy for them.
And I don't think they're going to be any better next year because they haven't got the team behind them. They've obviously got a copycat
They've got good
team.
people there. They've always done well with the budget they've had, and now they've got a budget. They should at least be in that midfield fight.
But let's just be really aware. This is still Force India. At the end of the day,
but the Force India team was able to beat McLaren in the Constructors' Championship and fight Red Bull.
But McLaren have gone up slowly.
Oh yeah. McLaren are better now
they
than
did
they
a
were
massive
then.
nosedive, and then they've now gone back up
but
slowly.
This is the team that was
Same
finishing
with
fourth, and the team that finished 4th in the Constructors' Championship 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
So they are a good team. They've got some good people there. But I just got this feeling that Lawrence Stroll's, he's sitting there on his chair, stroking his cat with the button, and Otmar Safnauer is standing there on the thing saying, "Oh, it's not our fault. It's not our fault." And sooner or later, the Sharks are going to be released, and he's going to be dropped into the pit.
Oh
and,
yeah. Safnauer's out with. I mean.
Yeah, he'll be gone. He'll be gone by the end of the season.
Where do you reckon he'll go? Where do you reckon he'll go?
I don't know.
Probably to Williams or somewhere.
Probably to the supermarket to complain about the managers or something. Karen.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, he'll end up in Ferrari because he's got so many of them, hasn't he?
That's probably a good shout, actually. To be fair. But so Perez, driver of the day. He was driving.
Where's that come from? Sorry, he was well behind. Like he started off in the same race as everyone else. And how far back behind his teammate was he?
Long way. A lot closer at the end. Yeah, it was a long. He was 4th, but it was a long way.
Sorry, this is pre them going in to do their tire swaps.
Yeah, he was nowhere.
Okay, I mean,
he led the race for a bit, but that wasn't because of his performance. That was because he was the only one who hadn't stopped.
Yeah. Which, and typical Perez style of just go out there, go long, and hope for a safety car behind him. That would have been. I mean, if he had the safety car behind him, he might have won. But that wasn't a steady drive. It was
today
just a steady drive.
Well, Sunday he did his job, which is to be in the pit window of the Mercedes, so they can't do a double pincer movement on the Red Bulls. So he did his job. It's just unfortunately Verstappen didn't.
No, I just don't get why.
Yeah, but driver of the day, he was never driver of the day. So who do we think for driver of the day then? Go on, put someone forward.
Put someone forward. Who was driver of the day? I'm going to go with Hamilton. And I never go with Hamilton, but I'm going to go with Hamilton only because Hamilton was steady. Okay, he screwed up the start slightly, but he got it back. The restart.
That was his only mistake, and he did recover well by passing 2 cars on track, which is more than a lot of people did. Yeah,
and they were brilliant overtakes, clean, sensible, well managed, and he then kept it. There was no worry about him apart from his lies. But again, I think he was. You can't give it to Verstappen because he threw it away. You can't give it to Bottas because he threw it away. You can't give it to Perez because he just sat back and didn't. I mean, he's got the same car as Verstappen in theory, and that didn't seem to go anywhere. You can't really give it to Lando. I mean, he was fine, but
yeah, he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong, but he
didn't make any mistakes.
He didn't do anything great either.
He made some good passes. He passed Ocon on lap 1 twice.
Oh yeah. Actually, do you know what? I think Ocon would have probably been my driver of the day.
He did good.
It's either Ocon.
I had possible Ricciardo, Hamilton, Norris, Ocon, Alonso were the ones for me that were in the. They're the ones that are in the conversation. I think when I was on Grid Talk, I think I said Alonso, but I think I'm going to go with you on that one and say Hamilton as well.
Yeah.
I think when you look at it, one tiny little error which was kind of forced by his teammate.
But having an error is fine as long as you claim it back. But
he recovered from it. Absolutely.
But that's what Verstappen and Bottas didn't do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'll go with that. I'll go with Hamilton for driver.
Verstappen lost that with the Hamilton overtake. Verstappen lost it, and that's why he got overtaken. But he didn't then claim it back. He didn't then fight for it. It just seemed like he sat back and went, Hamilton's passed me.
Yeah. Dick of the day, are we all going to say Mazepin?
Is it too obvious?
Doesn't matter if it's obvious. He was the biggest dick of the day for me.
There is no one else, is there? There was no one else that was actually did any dick me. Well, actually, Raikkonen, that was quite dickish driving into your own.
That's just a mistake, wasn't it? It wasn't a dick though.
No, I suppose it wasn't.
He was apparently adjusting something on the steering wheel.
And then
he was pretty dickish, to be fair. But Mazepin had 3 or 4.
He wasn't being a dick about it. Yeah. He was just being.
Mazepin had 3 or 4 instances of being a dick. So I think it's Mazepin, isn't it? Yeah. So
I mean, he's de facto dick of the day, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much. But,
and I don't want him to be because actually,
well, no, you would just give him a fair crack and take it week by week. And if he is the biggest dick of the day, then he gets the dick of the day. We're not going to just give it to him every week because he is. We're just going, we're going to give him every week. It's a restart.
This is the first time he's actually had dick of the day.
Let's have a look. Has he been? He has not been dick of the day over the whole weekend. He may have been for an entire event, but he's not been awarded like the week's dick of the day yet.
Yeah.
So this will be it depends how the conversation goes on Indy Car, but yeah. So quick rundown on Sanders there. So Hamilton leads on 69, Verstappen 61, Norris in third, 37, Bottas 32, still behind him, but he does have a DNF against him to be fair. Charles Leclerc 28. Sergio Perez 22, Daniel Ricciardo 16, Carlos Sainz 14, Esteban Ocon 8, Pierre Gasly 7, Lance Stroll 5, Fernando Alonso 5, Yuki Tsunoda 2. Everyone else with a goose egg. And then we go to constructors standings, and Mercedes have broken the 100-point barrier of 101, Red Bull on 83, McLaren 53, Ferrari 42, Alpine 13, AlphaTauri 9, Aston Martin 5, and then the 3 cars at the back, still nothing. So predictions then. How did we do on predictions? Well, you very coyly said Esteban Ocon would finish 7th, and that is exactly what he did. That was your only point, though.
All right. What was yours then?
Well, you had Russell for first retirement, fastest lap for Verstappen.
So close! So who did I have? Hang on, what was...
You had Charles Leclerc to win.
Mm.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
I had Hamilton for the win, which is my only point. I had Perez fastest lap, which was the case until quite close to the end. I had Ocon 8th, so close. And first retirement, Tsunoda. So, yeah, that's fine. So, the random number generator. Let me just update this quickly. So, who are we going to have as our... Oh, shall I do it on the YouTube again?
Go on.
Yeah, let's do it on the YouTube again. Bear with me, YouTube people. Right. Where are we? Share screen 1. No, which one do I want? That's the screen I want. Yep, bear with me, YouTube. Sorry. Right. Random number generate.
Riveting.
It is, isn't it? Number 16. There we go.
Who's number 16? That's got to be someone at the bottom.
Number 16 is Nicholas Latifi. So this will be the last time we're only allowed to have the drivers twice. because otherwise, obviously, we've got 23 races, so we can only have the drivers twice. So it's Nicholas Latifi for the second time. So this is the last time we will have him.
Yeah. Random.org. There we go. 16. How did he get so high last year? Oh yeah, because we got a load of newbies.
Yeah.
Um,
But that's he's the random driver anyway. So we can look at the other. This is for Barcelona, obviously. So we've got winner, fastest lap, first retirement, and where is Latifi?
right. So winner, I'm going to go for Verstappen to try and get revenge.
Okay.
Fastest lap, Hamilton.
Yep. Latifi.
Latifi, 19th. Just in case Mick Schumacher takes him over. Oh no, 18th. 18th.
Okay. Okay. And then you've got first retirement.
Who's got a bit whack?
While
I
you think about that, I am going to go for a Sergio Perez win.
Ooh, bold.
Yeah.
I'm going to go
second
for.
time I put him.
I'm going to go for Perez leaving then. First retirement.
Perez first retirement, love it. Okay, fastest lap, I'm going to go for Hamilton. Random position, I'm going to go 16th. And then
How's he going to get? There's a couple of cars leaving then.
Yeah. And then first retirement, let's go Carlos Sainz. Someone kind of like in that mid pack, pushing up towards the front. No guest this week, so that means at least we've got a chance of beating the guest predictor for a change. So that's all.
Did I get
fine.
Laura to be the guest predictor? Laura, are you still listening? I don't know if Laura's still listening, but she'll be our guest predictor.
If she's quick.
Laura!
No,
She's
come on.
busy running around the house.
Just,
I don't know.
I'll tell you what. We'll stick.
Or
her
if not,
predictions- We'll stick her predictions in there. We'll stick her predictions in there, and we'll pick it up next week. Right.
Yeah.
So, shall we move on to the Indy Car?
Go on then.
I know you're really excited about this.
I didn't watch the first race, and I watched the front of the second race. Who's your predictions? Right, hang on. She's going to come in. She's not going to come on screen. Right. We have guest predictor every week. Okay.
This is
Sorry.
riveting
This will be part of the
viewing.
actual podcast.
You just give me
Right,
more
we'll
work
have
to do. I was hoping just to upload it
Right.
as it was, but okay.
No. Right. Who will
Sorry,
win
YouTube.
Spain next? Verstappen.
Okay.
Who's going to be fastest? Hamilton.
Okay.
Who is going? What's the other one?
Latifi,
Who's going
where's
to
he
be the
going to
first
finish?
retirement? Who's going to retire first? The old Raikkonen. And
Where is Latifi going to finish?
Where's Latifi going to finish? Latifi's always at the back. Right, go on. So, well, where would you? Third up, so 17th. Yeah, 17th.
So we've got
There you
16th, 17th, and 18th then.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're optimistic.
Right, let's move
There
on
you
to
go.
the IndyCar then. So, we had two races in Texas, and the qualification was cancelled with the grid being determined by the championship order, which meant that Alex Palou led the way. It took Dixon just 2 laps to go from third
Why
to
was it
first
cancelled?
in dominant fashion. Weather, and Rossi made 3 places on the opening lap, climbing up to 13th, while O'Ward dropped to 14th. Bourdais caused the first yellow on lap 57 when he got tagged by Newgarden and spun into the wall. 15 laps of yellow, and we resumed, and McLaughlin jumped up to 6th through the stops during the caution. Great start from the rookie there. Due to the NASCAR PJ1 compound burnt onto the asphalt, there was only really one lane around the oval, so overtaking was a bit of a premium. O'Ward was 2 laps down and then somehow was 5th. I'm not really sure how that happened, so if someone could explain that to me, Phil, I'm looking at you in the comments. I mean, it was only like a 37-second lap or something, so I suppose that kind of contributes, but still. The Mayor of Hinchtown dropped it while being passed by Rosenquist and tested the strength of the rear of his car against the wall. Spoiler alert, the wall won. Chaos reigned on pit road during the caution as everyone clambered to make their final stops. Marcus Ericsson drove off with only 3 wheels on his wagon and lost his
3 wheels
top
on
10
my
place.
wagon.
He rejoined a few laps down, cursing his luck. 39-lap sprint then followed with a Kiwi 1-2, with Scott McLaughlin jumping up to 2nd now, with Dixon leading and O'Ward in 3rd. Previous Texas winner Graham Rahal showed some strong pace to climb up to 5th. This was helped by Colton Herta's brakes giving up, and fortunately he was able to bring it into the pits without causing a massive wreck. Dixon cruised home after leading 206 of the 212 laps.
It
was
Philip won't be able to tell you anything because he didn't watch either of the races. So I've just seen anyway, so he can't even tell you on the chat.
Dear.
Right, you're going to have to
Phil, you let me
explain this
down.
compound formula thing to me.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm quite happy to. I've done a bit of research on it, not a lot because
The P1 Jack, because you said it in the
PJ1.
original chat, and I have no idea what you're on about. I
So-
thought it might be. No, I have no idea.
basically
Go on.
it's what they call track bite, which is what it's a synthetic resin that they put on the tracks to kind of increase the traction of the tyres and cars. And
So it's
NASCAR,
basically glue.
Basically, yeah, but NASCAR have been using it, and they put it down to NASCAR, and Indy cars go on it, and with the Firestone tyres, they just can't grip on it. And then you saw it in the second race, where someone who I will not spoil it for you. Actually, I don't think I mentioned it in the review. So it's Will Power. He's running in like 5th place or something, and he has to make a slight dodge onto the black area of the tarmac. And then he basically has to get so far off the throttle that he fell from like 5th to last because he just had to go so slow to get back on the track. So it basically meant that the track was half the width.
Wow.
It was, it was
So
disgusting, to be honest.
So is that whose fault is that then? Is this the fact that NASCAR, is it a NASCAR track normally more than a
NASCAR race on
IndyCar
there. I mean,
track?
I don't know a lot about NASCAR, but they do race there. I know there was talk about them trying to scrape it off before the race, but that obviously didn't happen. I just like then they're providing a track that isn't suitable for the race, and it's affecting the fans. You know, not that there were fans there, but it's affecting the racing.
But there must be something on with that anyway. So Dixon, I don't know if I had Dixon in my. I haven't looked at my Dixon league.
Oh, I'm raging on that. My fantasy team, absolutely raging on that.
Well, I
For the
lost
second
loads on
race,
second race.
I picked my team for the second race, and it didn't go in for some reason. And it said I didn't pick a team when I did. And at one point, I had all 4 cars and my podium with a top 7.
Oh really?
It didn't end like that, but that's race 2. So I need to actually have a look at the results and go a quick rundown.
Can you hear
Top
my dog
10.
in the background?
No.
Oh,
We
that's
can't hear
right.
Jack.
Because my dog is just madly. Because
Your dog's just barking mad anyway.
Scrape on you.
So the top 10 was Scott Dixon with McLaughlin second, Pato O'Ward getting a podium, Alex Palou 4th, Graham Rahal 5th, Joseph Newgarden 6th, Jack Hardy 7th, Rossi 8th, Sato 9th, and Simon Pagenaud 10th. That was the result of the first race. Second race, another day and another race, and this time 375
yeah. So
miles.
what is this? Is this just a back to back exactly in the same
Double
way
header.
as?
Yeah, just like we were doing last year with Formula
Yeah,
1.
just to try and.
They do it back to back. They did it quite a few times last year as well in Indy Car, back to backs. But yeah, this time 375 miles, and it wouldn't take much time to beat the previous day's events. This was achieved before the start. As the field came round to start the race, there was a huge pile-up, eliminating Bourdais, Fittipaldi, Jones, Rossi, Kellett, Daly.
So that was before the race.
Yeah, that was as they were coming up to the start line.
I hadn't even realised that. I just saw the
Because
crash.
they do a rolling start, don't they?
Yeah. But I saw that.
so-
I didn't realise that was actually before
Yeah.
the race.
And then Kanan was also involved, but he just damaged his front wing and he was able to continue, but he was out of contention.
I loved
Race-
Connor Daly's discussion of it. He was just like, "Yeah." So I was at the back. Normally, you get to see these things and not get involved in them. Yeah, that didn't work for you, mate.
Yeah, he was upside down, scraping along the ground. Race continued under full course caution until they cleared the debris. They started on lap 19 when Harvey. I put this in my review because I listened to a podcast the other day, which I'd never listened to
Who's
before.
this?
This is me. I listened to a podcast that I'd never listened to before.
Was it Grip Strip?
No, it wasn't Grip Strip. I actually listened to Grip Strip.
Sorry, it's just Phil's just put on hashtag Grip Strip, so I thought I'd put that in.
It's Phil may have heard of it. It's called Around the Outside podcast, and
Round the
it's
outside, round the
it's-
outside. Please
it's
tell me that's
proper,
that theme tune.
No, it's proper
Round the outside,
Southern
round the
American
outside.
stuff, and and it's very easy. Like, Americans always take the mick out of our accents and stuff, and with good reason. But it's proper like Southern American, and it's like, yep, I heard that. It's really proper. Oh man. And then, you have one. I was creasing up because one guy said, oh yeah, and then so someone would do something, and then the other guy would repeat it like they do. He's like, "Yep, I hear that. Came in 7th. Yes, he did, sir. Yes, he did." But it's actually quite funny. But that was and they referred to Will Power as Slick Willie P. So I'm calling him Slick Willie P from now on.
Slick Willie P.
So yeah. Anyway, sorry,
Not
slight
Slick
tangent
Willie
there.
P. That's my boy.
I hear that.
Yeah, bye.
We just lost all of our American listeners. I'm so sorry. I know it's a terrible accent, but I love the twangs of the Southern accent, and you guys laugh.
I wonder what they think of it. I would love them to do it. All right, we've got to somehow get them to do an impression of us on their podcast. I don't know.
Contact Round
We'll
the
have to
Outside
take them in.
podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to do Around the Outside podcast, and they'll have to do an impression of us.
Yeah.
And we'll Round the Outside. Yes.
Anyway,
William Slick William P. Slick
Willie
Willie
P.
P. Isn't it? Slick Willie P.
But I'll Slick Willie P passing Connor Daly, our boy.
That's one of William's nicknames.
In
Slick Willie P.
the Auto Nation 500.
The All Nation 500.
Anyway,
Yeehaw! We're gonna go
I'm gonna
racing, boys. We're gonna go racing.
I am gonna stop taking the mick out of Americans now because it's not funny.
It's not all Americans. It's something.
So they started on lap. So they started on lap 19. We've just about got to the start of the race here, and Jack Harvey passes Slick Willie P around the outside on the PJ1 compound.
Round the outside. Anyway,
So the Ganassi cars quickly pull the gap of nearly 5 seconds to Harvey and Power, while O'Ward put huge pressure on Power for fourth. Harvey and Hinch retired in the pits with technical issues at around half distance, and all the leaders pitted under yellows. When things shook out, Dixon still led, but Rahal jumped up to second and O'Ward in third. The mid part of the race was much more competitive as they tried to stretch their fuel targets. O'Ward jumped Dixon and Rahal in the stops to take the de facto lead of the race, but Rosenquist's wheel made a bid for freedom, and he also did a 3 wheels on my wagon. causing
three
a
wheels
yellow.
on my wagon.
This cruelly meant that Joseph Newgarden was able to jump them all in the pits, and he took the de facto lead of the race. But in fairness to Joe New, he had been making lots of overtakes all day anyway, so he probably deserved it. 24 laps to go, and O'Ward made a great pass on Newgarden to take the lead. He quickly pulled out a 1.5 second gap, but given that he'd stopped 2 laps earlier than the guys behind, it was all about fuel conservation, but he was not to be denied, and he came home to win McLaren's first win since returning to the series. Woo! Come on, McLaren!
That's the first time we're going to hear McLaren winning, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm not going to hear him winning anytime soon.
Jake Peach and Christopher Moss. Is that them? No,
I don't know.
that's not around the outside.
Oh,
No,
we're still on that, are
they're
we?
Formula One fans. They're Formula One fans. Where the hell have you found this one? There we
Don't
go.
know.
Okay.
Phil has said it sounds like Marty Smith, whoever that is.
Well, I've just Googled him. He's an ESPN person.
Oh, okay. Don't know. But anyway,
On the outside, an Indy Car podcast. This is the lads. Oh, we don't know who they are. Ryan Spangler. Anyway.
to be honest, I've only listened to it once, and I just actually quite enjoyed it. It was quite funny.
There's
to listen
34
to.
episodes, so yeah.
No, it's
Crazy
all good.
Woody P.
It's all good.
There we go.
It sounded good, to be fair. Like the quality was good. So the rundown then: Pato Award 1. Woo! Joseph Newgarden 2nd.
So
Graham
this,
Rahal
sorry.
3rd.
So the fact is, according to Phil of Gripstrip, first win for McLaren, winning in IndyCar since Lone Star JR in 1979.
Sounds about right.
I mean, I didn't realise McLaren were that good.
Well, in IndyCar, they haven't been in IndyCar for ages.
I didn't realise.
They've only been back for. This is only the second season.
Okay. Oh, is this the Arrows McLaren?
Yeah, Arrow McLaren SP.
So is that related to the Arrows team of... Not
No.
related to
Arrow
that?
is a sponsor. SP is...
So
is
Arrows
Schmidt-
sponsors McLaren
Yeah.
racing team.
Yeah, Arrow is the
F1.
company. Schmidt-Peterson is the team that McLaren joined forces with to create Arrow McLaren Schmidt-Peterson.
Jesus Christ.
So
that's
it's Sam
amazing.
Schmidt and someone else, Peterson, I don't know who it is. But yeah, so it was O'Ward 1, Newgarden 2nd, Rahal 3rd, Dixon 4th, Herter 5th, Pagano 6th, Pelot 7th, McLaughlin 8th, VK 9th, who I didn't see all weekend, and then Ryan Hunter-Reay in 10th. So yeah, that was a better race.
That
and
crash
a better result.
was insane at the beginning.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was a rubbish result for me.
Yeah,
We won't worry about that.
it was insane. But just on that, we last week obviously I mentioned about I noticed about how the Indy cars seem to be a lot stronger than other cars in other series. F1 and Formula E were of a similar kind of vein where they would hit cars and not break up. So I then got an email.
Proved my point this time. They didn't overly break up.
No,
This
they
time
didn't.
on
Did
any
they?
of this crash. There was bits of car that didn't belong to other bits of car attached to other bits of car. But there didn't seem to be that much garbage.
But you saw like Tony Kanaan went right up the back of somebody, and all he had was a broken front wing, but he like the wing didn't completely fall to pieces.
I mean,
So,
what's his chop's car that flipped over Connor Daly's that went skidding? Actually looked quite solid.
Yeah, well, it was sliding on its roof basically, wasn't it? Because of the rollover hoop, and I mean the aero screen wouldn't have harmed it, but it certainly didn't hurt it. But yeah, I mean with the rollover hoop, that wouldn't have made any difference if the screen was there or not. So that didn't affect it. But yeah, so as I was saying, we got an email from Tino Belli, who seemingly is a regular listener of our podcast, which is great. He was on episode 41. And for those of you who don't know who Tino Belli is, he is the head of aerodynamic design at Indy Car. He was heavily involved in the aeroscreen's inception and deployment on the cars. So he sent us an email saying, heard you on the podcast saying that F1 carbon parts breaking into a million pieces, but Indy car parts hanging together. We do this on purpose. We had a bad experience with the manufacturer aero kits in 2014 to 2017, which were designed to be optimum, all breaking up like Formula 1 cars. We didn't like this for a number of reasons. Number one, safety. Bits could hit drivers, injuring them, or even worse, could hit fans or corner workers. Could also cause punctures and could cause crashes. 2, long cleanup time. Not good when fans wanting to see racing. 3, put cars out of the race or makes them completely uncompetitive. You can replace a front wing, but if the floor gets its bits broken off, in reality that car is out of the race. Again, not good for fans. On street and road racing, we want our drivers to be able to have a little bit of inadvertent contact without them going out of the race. In close wheel-to-wheel racing, contact is inevitable, I think. So with the UAK 18, we introduced tough fibres into the construction of our bodywork and wings. Bodywork is designed to a stiffness, and unfortunately the lightest way to achieve any given stiffness makes the parts very brittle, so they break easily. Also remember that cars are designed to be safe in very high-speed crashes. The road course wings are used on short ovals where crashes are 150 miles an hour, and the monocoque is designed for crashes of 225 miles per hour on super speedways. So it has to be strong, and this limits how light the monocoques and structural side pods and the underwings can be. So that's why the cars are so heavy and why they're so well, I say strong, but how they're kind of so tough. So thank you very much for that, Tino. That's
interesting
really
that they've taken a completely different concept.
Yeah, I mean, given that it's a spec series, this is why you see this in Formula E as well, because he also said that Dallara make chassis for Formula E, so that's probably why there's similar concepts in there. You see collisions in Formula E and you don't see carbon fibre flying everywhere, whereas in Formula 1 everything has to be optimised, so therefore...
what do you think about that? Should Formula 1 go the other way? Because
I
if
think
that
there's
was the
definitely
other
something to be
way,
said for it.
if that was the other way, we're Raikkonen wouldn't have been out of the race
I think
this week.
he still would have had to have a front wing change, so he still would have been.
Oh,
out of
granted, he
commission.
would have had a front wing change, but he wouldn't have been out.
You
of the
wouldn't
race.
have so much carbon fibre shards everywhere. I think there's a balance.
But we
in
wouldn't
that,
have had a
because you've got
safety car to clean it up.
Yeah, you've got the weight of the cars to consider, and at the moment the cars are already very heavy because of the turbo hybrid engines. And then if you're adding lots of extra weight, we want the cars to become lighter and more nimble. Realistically, we don't want them to be any heavier. So I think if we can find a way of reducing weight elsewhere,
I mean,
well, we want
the
them
whole
to be.
point of
We don't
Formula
want
One-
them to be just like trucks, which is what they're like at the moment. They're the size of an SUV, and they're so cumbersome. You don't really see them because they're so powerful. It's just the downforce is what holds them on the track. We want them to be nimble, so the downforce is less important. That way, they can react quickly when they're behind other cars. They're not as
which
affected
is
by
very much
dirty air.
in the premise of the Indy Car.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if they can make them lighter and then make the chassis, if you say like the thickness of the chassis, or like they have to make them out of certain compounds to make them stronger, then I think there is something to be said. You could do something like that. Yeah. I think that'd be an interesting way to go in Formula One. But
because it doesn't really matter if they, even if they halve the speed. I know it's really drastic. Don't get me wrong. Even if they halve the speed, it's still Formula One. You're still getting the race. It's still the fastest Formula going. That's what Formula One is, and that's what IndyCar is in the US, isn't it? It's the fastest open. As long as they're the fastest open wheel car, that's all we need to worry about, in Formula One and IndyCar. And I think then I'm looking. I mean, have we even seen any mock-ups of what possible next season's F1 car could look like?
We discussed it on this podcast, and I sent you a picture of it, and you said it looked really cool.
Did I? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. To be fair, though, I just remember it.
Yeah, but I'm just like, but I do wonder as to whether they can change it and go smaller and lighter.
Well, again, because it's not a spec series, it's difficult to do it. But I think there's definitely something to be said. They could look to do something like that. Rules are
you can only be. But as Steve was saying on the Grid Talk podcast, that Williams are now using ballast in there, so to bring them up to the minimum weight. So we should be looking at getting cars lighter.
I think we definitely need to have cars lighter, definitely.
But at the moment, there's a minimum weight as well, and using the ballast on it, or there must be of some sort.
Yeah.
Ballast works.
Yeah, there is ballast that gets moved around from area to area on the cars, depending on where they're at. But yeah. Anyway, we're talking about IndyCar.
Sorry.
We were anyway. I would like, if Tino's listening, I would like to ask him another question.
Why Tino's question of the week?
Yes,
whether he
this
likes
is going to be this is going to be Tino's question time. Why is it IndyCar don't have power steering?
Oh yeah.
Is it a cost thing? Is it a weight thing? Is it?
Do they need it?
Well, it is I mean, say Romain Grosjean, having come straight out of Formula One, said that the St. Pete Grand Prix was the most physical Grand Prix he's ever done because of the heat and the power steering, or not having power steering. Which is, it's like, is it to create a physical challenge for the drivers? Is it a safety aspect? Has it ever been considered? Is it something that may come in future? So if you are listening, Tino, I know if you're trimming
it's nothing to do with aerodynamics, but we won't worry about that.
Yeah, if you're trimming that hedge, or walking that dog, then and you're listening to our podcast. He said he likes to listen to the podcast when he's walking the dog. So,
I mean, that's a true motorsport fanatic that he works on IndyCars and then listens to us.
Still listens to podcasts, especially rubbish ones like ours.
Yeah, chatting about IndyCar. I just wish I knew more about it. Anyway, I'm learning more and more as we go along.
So I would like to know about the power steering, and maybe someone else can let us know. But that'd be really interesting. But so the championship now, Scott Dixon has gone top of the table. He did after the first race, but Pato O'Ward, given with his third and his first, has closed in. He is 22 points back from Scott Dixon. Alex Palou maintains his good start, 4 points behind Pato O'Ward. Joseph Newgarden is up to fourth with 116 points, and Graham Rahal, good start to the season for him, 107. Simon Pagenaud sits in sixth place with 102. Colton Herter dropped to seventh with 100 points. Will Power 99, and Scott McLaughlin also on 99, puts him back to top rookie. Jack Harvey with 90 points in 10th, Rinus VK 11th, and Takuma Sato 12th. Rossi, other notable people, Rossi down there in 15th still with 65 points. And yeah, there's nothing else really of any major interest in there, to be honest. Max Chilton is the last of the people who have ran in 27th. Go Max Chilton. So he's even behind Jimmy Johnson. So well done, Jimmy Johnson. You're beating someone.
The old boy.
Yeah. So what else do we need to talk about? Driver of the day and Dick of the day in Indy Car. I imagine you're probably just going to bow to my knowledge on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people in the conversation, I would say Scott McLaughlin did a fantastic job in the first race. But I think Dixon was also unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I can't not give it to O'Ward, can I? His second race performance is brilliant. His first race was decent as well. So his driver of the day is O'Ward. Without a shadow of a doubt, Dick of the weekend is the PJ1 compound on the track because it ruined the race.
Yeah. Did that have anything to do with the crash?
Not the crash, no, I don't think. Well, I don't think so, because by that point they were pretty much on the straight.
Okay.
Oh, another question. Why did they call it a straightaway in America and they just call it a straight over here?
That's a bit
Who knows
random.
that? They call it a straightaway. Yeah, no, maybe not for Tino. For anyone else, tell us why do they call it... Oh, Phil's in the chat. Phil, tell us why they call it a straightaway and not a straight. That'd be interesting. Yeah, so... Right,
Would it be? They just called it straight away. That's like,
Yeah,
why do
probably.
they call rubbish garbage?
yes,
Just
it's
because
true.
they do.
Yeah,
It's just because they do. There's no real reason about it.
it's
It's
just
just
true. Anyway, so
Right then.
so driver of the weekend, between the two, I would say probably Hamilton did a slightly better job. So let's go with Hamilton for that. And Dick of the weekend, is it Mazepin or some tyre glue? It's Mazepin.
It's Mazepin. Because although it ruined the race, it ruined the race for everyone.
Yeah,
While Mazepin was a dick to certain people.
yeah. It was still the same for everyone at the end of the day. It just affected the racing, whereas Mazepin
Yeah.
was just a knob. Cool. Okay. So that's that sorted. We have our driver and Dick of the day, although it's not following through to my front sheet for some reason, so I'll have a play with that once we're off air.
There you go.
Anything else we want to talk about this week?
No.
Next week we've got Barcelona.
What is Philip on about? Who knows? It's a double dog leg on the front side. I have no idea what you're talking about. We'll find that out next week. Because someone's going to explain that to me. Because I
On
literally
that
have
note, yeah.
no idea what he's on about.
So, join him. Support Manscaped. I'm using Manscaped right now.
On his face.
On my face. Support
On your face.
Manscaped. Get 20% off with a voucher code. Monkey
Support
at
us. Don't worry about
checkout.
supporting Manscaped. They're a multi-billion
Yeah,
pound company.
and support us as well. You
But
can also
support us.
donate to us, monkeyseatpod.com. You can go to the donation section and you can sponsor us, become a sponsor of the show.
Or
whatever.
you can buy 10 shavers from Manscaped.
Yeah,
and
I
they'll
believe
give us money.
donations
So
start
whatever
at
you want.
£1. Donations start at £1 and they go all the way up to £1 million. So do whatever
they?
you want to support us. No, they don't.
Can you
go to
imagine
million.
if someone dropped just £1 million?
That'd be amazing. God, the podcast
That'd
we
be
would do with
hilarious.
that. Gee, we would do on location podcasts.
What podcast
everywhere.
would we do? Yeah, we'd be everywhere.
Yeah, we'd
Anyway,
fly into the 500.
we better go before my daughter breaks in.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
I think she's going to come in. Right.
That's it.
Bye.
Exit music. Bye.
Bye. She's gone away now. We're all good.
Oh, so should we carry on then?
Dum, dum.
Should we talk? Should we talk for another hour?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, I've got Graham's just turned up. My brother-in-law with his wife. I think Margaret's here as well.
Okay.
Where's my head
Thanks.
gone?
Thanks, YouTube.
Where's my head
Thanks.
gone? There we
Thanks for your contributions
There we
in the chat, especially Philip and Laura as well. Lots and lots of comments in there. It's been great. Thank you.
Lots to
Yeah.
chat about rubbish. It'd be
I hope
nice.
you enjoy the rest of your day's work, Phil.
Yeah. I wonder what Phil does as a job. Do wonder. I think he does something incredibly geeky and techy.
Oh, I've just figured out how to do something which is a lot easier.
What?
I've just figured out how to copy the streaming link direct from YouTube Live. Didn't know you could do that. Oh well,
Oh, wow.
I'm going to do that.